Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I will go ahead and call the June regular council meeting to order and turn it over to Councilman Halter for the invocation and pledge.
Pray. Lord, we thank you for this gathering today. We thank you for all the many staff members and employees of this town that make this possible every single day for our citizens. Lord, we pray that you bring us to a consensus on the items before us today. And Lord, if we do disagree, let us disagree without being disagreeable. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Meservey, before coming down, I just wanted to recognize our police chief, Chief Wright in the back. It happens to be his birthday. I'm told it's 29. So happy birthday, Chief. We appreciate you. Come on now. You were sitting.
All right, this is from Amy Evans, our Director of Parks and Recreation. Brandon became the town's first recreation programmer in July 2022. He previously worked 8 years as a grounds maintenance tech for Parks and Rec. On his first day in his new role, he was thrown into leading a summer camp. He learned every child's name that summer and was loved by every one of them. In his time as a programmer, he has taught over 300 students how to play pickleball. One of his youth students even recently earned a medal at the junior pro level. Brandon believes that effective teamwork is essential to the success of any organization. The three phrases I hear from him daily are, "How can I help? I'm here to serve," and "whatever you need." There's no task too big or too small for Brandon to take on. Last week, I even saw him picking up litter in the parking lot. He is always the first one to offer to stay late or come in on the weekend. Through the relationships Brandon has formed in the community, it has allowed him to be instrumental in securing over $45,000 in sponsorship dollars in the last year and a half. Brandon is responsible for great programming such as American Sign Language and Family Bingo Nights, and has led initiatives such as creating holiday ornaments to commemorate the town's 175th anniversary. In his second year, Brandon took on the Sweet Tea Half Marathon. Despite challenges with the construction of the parkway, he organized an incredibly successful event. Further, he has redesigned the route to allow for participation growth in future years. Brandon is an invaluable asset to the town of Summerville. He received the Parks and Recreation Leadership Award in 2023. In 2024, he was promoted to the facility manager position at the Rollins Edwards Community Center and has already done an incredible job connecting with the community and managing this resource. Next, if I could have Dr. Johnson come up.
Along with Dr. Johnson, any of those partners who work against human trafficking, please feel free to join us up here for this proclamation.
Whereas the town of Somerville is committed to the protection and preservation of human rights and to the eradication of human trafficking in all its forms. And whereas combating human trafficking requires the collective efforts of government, law enforcement, nonprofit organizations, and compassionate citizens dedicated to making a difference. And whereas Dr. Adrian Fox has demonstrated exemplary generosity and commitment to this noble cause by donating $30,000 to the town of Somerville to support initiatives aimed at preventing human trafficking, rescuing victims, and aiding in their recovery. And whereas Dr. Fox's significant contribution will provide much-needed resources for local organizations that work tirelessly to fight against human trafficking. Now therefore, Mayor Tutchberry and the council members of the town of Somerville do hereby proclaim our deepest gratitude and recognition to Dr. Adrian Fox for his generous donation and unwavering support in the fights against human trafficking. We commend his dedication to this critical cause and encourage all citizens to join in efforts to end human trafficking and support the victims of this crime.
Out to us and basically said, we would like to partner with you and support you and your efforts against human trafficking. It's very rare when somebody calls you and says, we want to give you money in support of your efforts against any cause. And it was kind of overwhelming, but I want to thank you, Dr. Johnson, for your leadership and for all your support with this group who works tirelessly to combat human trafficking on behalf of our community. So thank you. Do you have any words you want to share? I know you're going to speak a little bit later, but absolutely, thank you.
Next up, Dexter Mack. Whereas Juneteenth is a significant day in American history that commemorates the emancipation of enslaved African Americans and marks the end of slavery in the United States. And whereas Juneteenth serves as a powerful reminder of the long and arduous struggle for freedom and justice endured by African Americans and honors the resilience, courage, and enduring spirit of those who fought for liberation and equality. And whereas this day provides an opportunity for all Americans to reflect upon and learn from our shared history, to recognize the achievements and contributions of African Americans, and to continue the fight against racial injustice and inequality. Now therefore, Mayor Tutchberry and the council members of the town of Somerville do hereby proclaim June 19th, 2024 as Juneteenth, and encourage all citizens to join in the observance of this historic day. Next up, if I have Bike Walk Somerville come up. Whereas the town of Somerville recognizes the importance of promoting healthy lifestyles, sustainable transportation, and the well-being of our community members. And whereas walking and bicycling are low-cost, environmentally friendly modes of transportation that contribute to reducing traffic congestion, lowering pollution levels, and enhancing the quality of life in our town. And whereas Bike Walk Somerville has been a dedicated advocate for pedestrian and bicyclist safety, tirelessly working to improve infrastructure, raise awareness, and promote safe practices for all road users in our town. And whereas the spirit of volunteerism and community engagement demonstrated by Bike Walk Somerville serves as an inspiring model for civic responsibility and active participation in the betterment of our town. Now therefore, Mayor Touchberry and the council members of the town of Somerville do hereby proclaim June 2024 as Bike Walk Somerville Month in Somerville, South Carolina, and encourage all residents to participate in activities and initiatives that promote walking and biking, and to join in efforts to make our town a safer, healthier, and more enjoyable place for everyone. And finally, the Somerville High School girls softball team. Whereas on May 23rd, 2024, the Somerville High School softball team defeated Lexington, capturing the South Carolina High School League's 5A state softball championship, making them back-to-back champions in 2023 and 2024. And whereas under the guidance of Coach Heather Tucker, the Lady Green Wave completed their season with a perfect 30-0 record. And whereas the hard work and commitment of the players, the strategic leadership of the coaches, and the unwavering support of the families, friends, and fans have been integral to the team's success. And whereas the Somerville community recognizes and celebrates the extraordinary achievement of these young athletes and the positive impact that they have had on our school and community as a whole. Now therefore, the mayor and council of the town of Somerville do hereby proclaim our heartfelt congratulations and recognition of the Somerville High School girls softball team back-to-back state champions.
Very true. And we just emptied out. We might really run that first.
All right, so good afternoon, our guests, good evening, Council and Mr. Mayor. I appreciate your time and allow me to share this exciting news with you guys. So the PIO office has been super busy, and we are releasing another website after the meeting today. This will be live to our community, so we're super excited. So I am excited to reveal our Somerville Economic and Development website. Next slide, please. So before we dig in, I want to go talk a little bit about the rebranding and a little bit before it. So last time that our economic development office had rebranding was in 2022. The website, our previous website had only 3 slots, little links that were related to economic development. That was it. And then also it was Somerville Means Business branding beforehand, and that was the old logo. When I came into my role, and then once Frank joined as our economic development director, him and I sat down and we discussed, all right, I think it's time to really take this to the next level because this is important for our town in the future. And we wanted to give it a fresh, more modern branding, but also get information to the community in a much more organized and nicer way as well. Next slide, please. So what comes with the rebrand? Well, there are a lot of things. First is a fresh and contemporary logo. This is our new logo, as you can see here. And it's supposed to just kind of represent Somerville. We have the same colors as our town colors as well, just a different use of it, and a very Somerville-esque font as well. We went through various different logos, but this is the logo we kind of we fell in love with. And also with the new rebrand is a new website. This website does follow the same branding of the color, which is our same town colors, but it is a different use of coloring as well. Additionally, is a LinkedIn page for all our digital media. So previously, our economic development had social media on Facebook, and I think that's it. Twitter, I believe, or X. They did have that as well, but the uses were there, but it wasn't being executed the way that I feel would be beneficial to where we're at here in 2024. So we rebranded our social media as well, and we are strictly on LinkedIn only. And the strategic reason behind that is because LinkedIn is a very growing social media platform, but it's also where a lot of folks who are interested in this conversation, this topic, are going to be able to kind of really relate. We will probably end up having a Facebook page on it in the future, but we're going to really build up that LinkedIn. Next slide, please. So the reason before the rebrand, I kind of dug into this a little bit, but is a modern look and accessibility. So that's number one for me, is making information as easy as possible to access. And that needed to happen. So that was the main purpose behind it. But I like to spice things up a little bit and add a modern look and make it 2024. Adapting to evolving demands. Economic landscape is evolving. We all know it, especially here in Somerville. So we need to really, get in line with the demand of information for this type of stuff. Because previously it was emails and calls, and then we would have to figure out that information through our notes, through our files, and have to look at old links. It was a mess, and that's not the case anymore. And, the web experience is just like our other previous websites we released last year. The web experience is optimized and it's a ease of use and very quick and very easy to navigate. And then obviously being mission focused on enhancing Somerville's economic landscape through those various different ways. Next slide, please. So I want to dig in a little bit about the LinkedIn page because I think this is important. Our LinkedIn page grew very much since we launched it in February. So we have 1,472 followers. In February, we had 0. And we have, since February 1st, we've had 15,100 impressions. What does that mean? That means people who have seen our posts and who have interacted with our post. And then our actual page that we built has 574 page views. Now, in this, we can see kind of which industries they came from. There had to be like 25, but I picked the top 3. And so 115 in real estate, 64 in government administration, and 44 in construction. I think that says a lot right there. And so when we launched this in February 1st, we launched it as a rebrand with the new logo. with the website in mind and works as well. And immediately, I think that, within a week, the Charleston Regional Business Journal picked it up, and Frank and I really sat down and talked about this and strategically released the type of information we're releasing on LinkedIn. And it was really cool seeing that article and talking about Frank and his experience and what he's doing within our economic development realm as well. And so that's a really cool article. And I think if you haven't read it, I recommend going ahead and reading it. Next slide, please. So this is our website reveal. So I want to take a moment and just kind of quickly show you guys the website. And then once I'm done, it's going to be live for the community to use. So next slide, please. Will it work? Let's see. All right. So I'm going to go over here. All right. So basically, I'm a drone guy, if you guys don't know me. So I had to put a drone video on the lead. I think it's pretty. It shows the town. But as you know, in our new website, we have our search bar here. This is optimized. We like to use this search bar, and I encourage all of you guys to use the search bar as well. It's going to be the way you quickly find your information. And it's optimized. It's going to be super easy to use. But if you don't, well, have fun exploring. Let's explore. So we have our popular services here. This is the stuff that we see most of our visitors going to access. We have our commercial real estate, start a business, Somerville data, our planning department, and our GIS services. These are our most popular services currently. This is interchangeable. So if the community is needing more information on a certain topic, I will change this out to meet the needs of our community. And it's the same thing on our other websites as well. And just like the other website, we have our upcoming events. We will make this, it kind of coincides with the town's events calendar, but they kind of coincide in general. So that's going to be really useful. And then our meetings as well. And then right here is a little slideshow. This is where anything that we can, sign ups or events or anything else that you want to explore, you can find that here. And that's interchangeable as well. And then down here is our LinkedIn button and then post that you can go ahead and explore. Now, that's our homepage. We have an About Us section. And in the About Us section, you'll be able to see a lot about Frank, his message in regards to community and economic development. Frank was a huge help in building this with me. And we really tag team this to really make this the best it can be for our community. So I appreciate you, Frank, for all the help you put in and work you put into this. So in business resources, I won't go through all these tabs. I'll let you guys have fun and explore the website, but you can see all the different things that we have to offer on our website and things you can find on here. This is stuff that was not able to be found before today. So now all this information is accessible just like that. So then we have our target industries. So these pages are our target industries currently. This will be ever interchangeable depending on time and where things go in the future. But all these pages talk a little bit about the industry and what is currently residing in Somerville and what the future could hold. Within these industries and these pages, these are going to be pages work in progress. They're not done because there's a lot more that can happen within these. Another thing that's important in business development or economic development and community development is talent and workforce, right? So we have initiatives, economic development, industry recruitment, and employment opportunities. We want to make it accessible for folks who want to work and want to find jobs within the town to come here and find those jobs as well. And then our contact us page. But other than that, I encourage you guys to explore. When you go on our main page on somervillesc.gov, if you go under government and then you can find our departments, if you click economic development, that's how you'll get here. We will have a specific URL for this website that is not in place yet, but we will soon. And once I have that URL in place, I will share that with you guys. Any questions?
Council members, outstanding job, Chris and Frank. Thank you so much. And it's so important for us to be out there in the market to get the investment we would like to have. So appreciate you. It's very exciting. All right. That's okay. All right, I will open the public hearing for the municipal budget for fiscal year 2025 and turn it over to you, Ms. Rhonda, for a
Good
few
evening.
comments.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, the budget ordinance that you have before you for fiscal year 2025 remains unchanged from the first reading. It contains revenues and expenditures totaling $49,485,998, which is an 8.59% increase over the previous year's budget. I would like to note that the millage remains unchanged at 66 mills, and a use of fund balance of approximately 2 million is included in the revenues.
Council members, any questions for Ms. Rhonda? Okay, we'll turn it over to the public. Does anyone want to speak on the town's budget for fiscal year 2025? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing.
Next is approval of minutes.
Mr. Mayor, I'd move for approval of the town council meeting, May 9th, 2024, special council meeting, June 3rd, 2024, and the standing committee meetings of June 5th, 2024 for approval.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the minutes of A, B, and C. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
For public comment for items on the June 13th agenda, Andrew Price.
Can I move mine to the second one? Thank you.
Troy Long.
I won't take up much of y'all's time because we've got a couple other people who'd like to speak about this too, but I'm speaking about Wally Street and the rezoning of that. Right now, we're just a single-family residential neighborhood. That's all that's owned there is just single-family houses. And the rezoning that they're proposing, regardless if they went with the commercial or they went with the denser residential, would change the character of our neighborhood. And we would just like to keep what we've got. And like I said, I'll turn it over to the next one that's wanting to speak. Thank you.
David and Jabria Bocabella.
We actually are speaking about the Wiley rezoning as well. Our property is right next to the rezoning. Like Troy said, it's a single family residence. We moved here from out of state. We love the street. It's quiet. We have 4 children. Peaceful. On their blueprints, they have 6 visitor spaces for 7 townhomes. And, you know, there's no sidewalks, anything like that. People have a little birthday party. They're gonna be parking along the street. They actually be right up against the parking spaces will actually be right up against our fence. It's just really not with the aesthetic of the street. It's just real quiet, no traffic. I don't worry about my kids getting hit by a car. That's about it.
Yeah, I agree with what he was saying and also what Troy said. It's a quiet neighborhood. They're all residential homes. I don't see why we couldn't keep it as single family homes instead of trying to add those townhouses. And also it's such a small space for where they're trying to add 7 townhomes. And on their blueprints, they have a retaining pond, which would be directly at the front, right next to my property. And like you said, we have 4 children. One of them is only 1 that poses a danger within itself. So again, we'd like to just keep it the way it is. We're not opposed to them building houses. We would just like it to just be single family homes. But thank you guys.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, that's all I have for public comment number 1. Under pending bills and resolutions, second and final reading of an ordinance to adopt an operating budget for the town of Somerville, South Carolina for the fiscal period beginning July 1st, 2024 and ending June 30th, 2025.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we do the second and final reading of this ordinance and approve it.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Mr. Mayor, can I say one thing real quick? I will say this is the first year that our budgets had $500,000 in there for sidewalks. So I was really happy to see that. And we also had a 20% increase in capital outlay. So thank you to Rhonda, Lisa, and all of the staff for what you did with the budget this year. I appreciate it.
Excellent comments, Councilwoman. Thank you.
Second and final reading of an ordinance to amend the Somerville Unified Development Ordinance, Chapter 2, Section 2.3.6A, encroachments, Chapter 4, Section 4.2.5, frontage encroachments, Chapter 13, Section 13.7.1, zoning and development permit.
Mr. Mayor, I move for approval of second reading.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second for approval of second reading. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Second and final reading of an ordinance to amend the Somerville Unified Development Ordinance, Chapter 3, Section 3.3, Table of Permitted Uses, and Section 3.4.5E, Tobacco, Tobacco Alternatives Sales Store, and Chapter 15, Section 15.3, Definition of Terms.
Mr. Mayor, I move for approval of second and final reading of the ordinance.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Second and final reading of an ordinance to amend the Somerville Unified Development Ordinance, Chapter 9, Lighting, Section 9.3, Design Standards.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve second reading.
I'll second that, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve second and final reading. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Second and final reading of an ordinance to amend the Somerville Unified Development Ordinance, Chapter 13, Section 13.7.2, Building Permit, and Section 13.7.3, Certificate of Occupancy, Occupancy Permit.
Mr. Mayor, I move for approval of second and final reading of the ordinance.
Second.
All right, have a motion and a second to approve second and final reading. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Second and final reading of an ordinance to amend the Somerville Unified Development Ordinance, Chapter 14, Section 14.2.4, Notice of Violation, and 14.2.5, Failure to Correct Violation.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, motion and a second to approve. Is there any discussion?
I would just say, I struggled with this one, because we don't have to issue a warning citation, although we may, issue a warning citation. So I'm not gonna be able to vote on that.
Okay, any other discussion from council? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Second and final reading of an ordinance to amend Chapter 6, Building and Building Regulations, Article 2, Division 2, Construction and Code Board of Adjustments and Appeals, Section 6-61, to allow, in addition to citizens, those individuals who own a business and/or real property or individuals with the unanimous vote of council to serve as a member of the Construction and Code Board of Adjustments and Appeals.
Mr. Mayor, I move for second and final reading.
I'll second that, Mr. Mayor.
All right, motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Under introduction of bills and resolutions, first reading of an ordinance to amend the Town of Somerville Code of Ordinances, Chapter 2, Article 2, Division 3, Section 2-98B, addressing council.
I figured we would have had a pretty quick motion there.
I would move for approval for first reading of the ordinance.
Second that, Mr. Mayor.
All right, a motion and a second for first reading. Any discussion?
Yes, I believe that if you could elaborate on this a little bit. What is this concerning?
Yes, ma'am. This is where we are modifying our public comment time from 5 minutes to 3 minutes per individual in order to respect everyone's time with the progress of a meeting.
Thank you.
All right. No, any other comments?
So if I understand you correctly, Mr. Mayor, public comments will be reduced from 5 minutes to 3 minutes. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. This is the first reading for that.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
First reading of an ordinance to rezone TMS numbers 13014, 13001, and 002, located at 110 and 112 Wiley Street, totaling approximately 1 acre and owned by Wendy G. Taylor from GR5 General Residential, 5 units per acre, to NMX Neighborhood Mixed Use, and this is in Council District 1. The Planning Commission held a public hearing and made a recommendation for denial at their meeting on May 20th, 2024. The Planning and Development Committee voted to move the item to full council with a recommendation for denial at their meeting on June 10th, 2024.
Mr. Mayor, I would move that we deny the rezoning.
I'll second.
All right, the motion and a second to deny the rezoning request. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Under miscellaneous, consideration of State Accommodations Tax Advisory Committee's recommendations for 2024 state aid tax funding.
Mr. Mayor, I would move for approval of the State Accommodations Tax Advisory recommendations as presented by the committee.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept the committee's recommendations for state aid tax funding. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Consideration of a 3-way stop sign on Dolphin Drive at Goldfinch Lane. The Public Works and Committee on Water Supply voted to move the item to full council with no recommendation at their meeting on Monday, May 6, 2024. This was inadvertently left off of last month's council agenda. That's why it's here.
And that's my fault because I'm responsible for the agenda. That's the only thing I'm responsible for, so I apologize.
I thought we were having a deja vu moment when I read it.
Any discussion?
If we could have our public works person just come up and briefly talk about this real quick. We talked about it at our meeting, but we wanted to get everyone's opinion on this, plus her expert opinion and advice or so.
Yes, the residents there are concerned about, of course, speeding through the neighborhood, folks using it as a cut through. But also there is a bus stop there and children crossing the road. And so they would like a stop sign and crosswalk put in. We conducted a speed study and recommended to not install the stop sign and crosswalk, but they were persistent. So brought it to Public Works Committee and Council.
Is this something that you are personally in favor of? As the
I'm
town engineer?
honestly indifferent.
Okay.
You know, honestly, it didn't meet like the speed study. It wasn't showing that cars were
Mhm.
speeding. But the phone calls that I was getting from the HOA said that, you know, they were concerned. They've said that it's increased, that folks cut over from Bacon's Bridge to Newington. And they've seen an increase. Yeah, so.
This is mine now.
Just for clarification, is this the property we talked about in Daniel's Orchard?
No, sir. This is, off of Bacon's Bridge Road, between Bacon's Bridge Road and Newington.
Okay. A piece of property.
I mean, we have the same issue in some other neighborhoods in our town, for something like a three-way stop, and some of them we have approved, some of them we have not. I'm not sure about this neighborhood myself. I don't go through this neighborhood. I would assume that if anyone is cutting through, they're going on to, the next neighborhood, which is, what is the name? of it?
Newington.
Well, not Newington, but right before Newington. Yeah, because those
Okay.
people, if they're gonna go to Newington, they're gonna turn down that next street.
Yeah.
To not go through this neighborhood. But I'm not familiar with it, and so that's why we brought it here. I'm not for or against it. Just wanted to hear everyone else's opinion.
Right. And I know in previous situations where stop signs have been requested, the individuals living right there, you know, might have an issue with it, even though if the community as a whole might want it, those, you know, people might not want folks stopping right in front of their house. And they have gotten back to me saying that they are fine with it. The current residents that live right there at that
Fine
location.
being the way it is.
Are fine with the addition of a stop sign.
Oh, I see.
When we did the speed check, doesn't that do a traffic count as well? Does that?
It
that count
does.
For us? I mean, were the numbers,
The numbers didn't seem out of the ordinary. And I wish I had that information
Right,
right in
right,
front of
yeah.
me. I'm sorry.
I'm not
I'm all
against
for,
it either.
Pardon?
I'm all for,
Yeah, right.
lower speeding and
And
anything to
pedestrian
help
speeding,
with.
yeah.
And I mean,
Pedestrians.
for safety reasons, because I know another neighborhood that was having the same issue, and for safety reasons, it makes sense. I'm wondering where the next nearest stop sign is.
I believe
If
the
they're-
next nearest one is at Willett Drive, which is around the other curve in
Right,
the next
okay.
intersection.
Well, I'll go ahead and make a motion that we go ahead and put the stop signs in. See if we have a second.
I'll second.
A motion and a second. Any other discussion? I did have a question. Is there a sidewalk along both sides or one side? You know, a stop condition is extremely, a whole lot more safe for pedestrians if they have to cross. Are you aware if there's a sidewalk on one or
Yes.
both sides?
If I'm remembering correctly, I believe that the sidewalk is on the, I guess, inside edge. Like if you're looking
Yeah,
at that image.
So they
It's
have,
that
they would
inner
have to
side.
cross.
Down.
Down, so
Dolphin.
that's why they would want the,
Yeah.
yes, the crosswalk, and there is a sidewalk on Goldfinch.
I think that's extremely important.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Okay.
Very good.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Authorize the town administrator to enter into a memorandum of understanding with First Citizens Bank for sponsorship and naming rights of the splash pad at Doty Park.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve this.
Second.
All right, motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Authorize the town administrator to enter into an agreement with Gilbert and Lee Construction LLC for boring under the town's parking garage as a part of the renovation at 118 West Richardson Avenue.
I'll make a motion that we approve that.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
I'd like to get a little bit more information about boring underneath a parking garage. If someone can speak to that, please.
Justin Lee, I think,
I was going to say, administrators, feel free to, but I have been privy to the discussions and the directional boring is for electrical service, if I'm correct. So it's not a large boring hole. And they have the foundation plans. They received those from, was it Gene Brislin? And their directional boring head is extremely sensitive. And the subcontractor feels certain that there is no issue. Of course, they are responsible for any issues. But Administrator, you go forward with anything I left off.
Okay, I was just going to say that council discussed this a few months ago. I do believe we had a professional come in and evaluate it for us, and didn't have any concerns about it, particularly with the method that they were using. So, this is necessary for the folks who are redoing the Century 21 building for them to be able to get adequate power to their facility.
Are we asking for any kind of bonding from the construction company, and are we asking for an easement of any kind?
Do you remember if that's in the, agreement?
They came and presented their plan at the committee meeting a few months ago. And at first I was hesitant, but they have some pretty good record keeping and details of the project. I was comfortable with it.
And that was before my time, so excuse me. Are there any provisions if this goes sideways, so to speak?
Are you looking through the agreement?
Through my file.
Okay.
Is there anything protecting the town if something were to go sideways? I know it's a small borehole, but boring is definitely a scientific approach to things.
There's nothing in the proposed agreement that they would identify. We can certainly add that, I would think.
Very good. Then I would, whoever made the motion, that I would request that you modify your motion to ask for some indemnification to the town.
I'll withdraw my motion. How about that? That's easier for you.
I'll second it.
Okay, so we have a motion from Councilman Halter to approve the authorization with the clause of indemnification protecting the town, and a second from Councilwoman Gordon Schmidt. Any other discussion?
Mr. Mayor, just one question. Is there any, problems if they have a problem with this boring? Is it gonna affect the town? Will they cover the cost of making the town whole again?
Mr. Parker, the indemnification would support that, correct?
We add an indemnification clause to the agreement. It's very, very simple. If something happened, they would have to indemnify the town and correct any damage that they caused.
That answers my question. Thank you.
All right, any other questions?
Doesn't every contractor, when they do business with they have to provide a bond?
There's no provision for a bond in it.
Oh,
If they were doing business with the town, they would have to, but since this is not town business. All right.
good
Any other
call,
discussion?
Councilman, good call.
All right, hearing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. I'll stop you there. Oh, no, that's E.
Not
Go
yet.
ahead.
Okay. Authorize the town to accept a, oh, okay.
Question about the bond, we are allowing them to use that area for a lay down area. They had to give us $1 million general liability bond.
Thank you.
Authorize the town to accept a quitclaim deed from PR Properties of Somerville LLC, conveying a portion of Trolley Road Extension, which will be repaved by Dorchester County and brought up to standards. Once that portion of Trolley Road Extension is accepted by the town will be responsible for maintenance.
I'll make the motion of approval.
I'll second that, Mr. Mayor.
All right, motion to approve in a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Item 12F was the one I was going to hold. I saw quitclaim and I said, here we go. Council members, if we could postpone this until July, time is not,
That deed was executed this week. Oh, excuse me, I'm confusing my deed.
No, I did it first. I did it first. You're fine. There's no, time is of the essence issue here. And there may be opportunities where we can, identify roads to swap with SCDOT in lieu of just taking on ownership. So, if y'all are good with that, we'll postpone till July.
Do we need a motion to postpone that till July?
We do.
I'll move that we postpone till July, this item F.
Second.
All right. Postponement. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Public comment, Andrew Price.
So my name is Andrew Price. I'm the Executive Director of the Somerville Orchestra. I want to first thank you all for passing the ATAX motion as it was presented by the committee. I hope that my words today will help tell the story of why that money and why we as an orchestra are really impacting our community. So I came in August last year, and I know that's a very different group up here than what it was in August. So my goal was to create as much awareness as possible about our 20 years being with the town and how it's mingled with this beautiful community. I wanted to make sure that we are showing our mission, which is sharing our love of music through enriching and engaging our community through the evolution of the orchestral art form. But at the same time, I'm proud to present that our efforts this season have translated into substantial economic, artistic, and collaborative benefits with this town. Specifically, the orchestra is the largest budgeted arts organization in the town of Somerville, and our expenditures have contributed to the creation of the equivalent of 35 full-time jobs in the community. This not only supports local employment, but also enhances the overall economic stability in Somerville. In terms of financial contributions, our expenditures have generated $52,000 in local government revenue and $71,000 in state revenue. These funds are vital for supporting public services, infrastructure, and other valuable commodities to create a successful town. Beyond these economic figures, though, is our artistic impact on the community. Through our performances this past year, we reached over 29,000 people through our outreach and through our subscription series programs. This does not include the extensive awareness and engagement we have fostered through our participation in Third Thursdays, farmers markets, and the Flower Town Festival. So literally 29,000 people heard the orchestra perform. We commissioned a world premiere this year, and we performed 4 pieces of music that have been played less than 5 times ever in the United States. And the last concert, we actually received honorary patronage from the ambassador of the Republic of Poland. And we expanded our artistic genres this year to include not only the orchestral scene, but jazz, pop, electro dance, and movie music. These events have allowed us to connect with even more community members and spread our mission in enhancing cultural appreciation across Somerville. Our outreach and educational efforts have also been a cornerstone of our mission. We have successfully supported more than 600 students in Dorchester and Berkeley counties, providing them with opportunities to engage in the arts and develop their talents. I would also like to highlight that all of these outreach performances that we do are right here in the town of Somerville. That includes our encore series at Coastal Coffee Roasters, our arts infused string quartet at Public Works Arts Center, and our music chats with our music director at the Dorchester County Library. We want to make sure that arts are accessible to everyone, which is why those outreach performances are free to the general public, and we've kept them free. We forged strong partnerships with local businesses and institutions this past year, including Volvo, the town of Somerville, and Dorchester County Parks and Recreation, just to name a few, to create performance experiences that branch outside of the 4 walls of the concert hall. These collaborations not only enhance our outreach efforts, but also strengthen community bonds and support local enterprises. And we're finding out that people are getting out of the house, as this past year we had 92 different zip codes attend our performances. So we know that the artistic scene is vibrant and alive in Somerville. In conclusion, I just want to thank all of you for supporting the arts, for supporting Somerville Orchestra, and supporting our mission. So thank you all. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. And I do have some brochures for next season that I'm going to give to you, and you can spread them out. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Dr. Johnson?
Defeating human trafficking is a great moral call of our time. These words by Condoleezza Rice, former U.S. Secretary of State, resonate deeply with our mission today. This is not my first time standing before council members in South Carolina. My journey began at the United States House of Representatives, where I was honored in 2018. I then had the privilege to address the North Charleston Council meeting, and now I'm honored to stand before the Somerville Mayor and Council members. Since 2018, when I was given a proclamation, I have pondered who could be worthy of such recognition and contribution significantly to your community. After much thought, I found the perfect candidate, Dr. Adrian Fox. Dr. Adrian Fox hails from the Commonwealth of the Bahamas and is the president of the Fox Foundation. He also serves as the UN leader for the Bahamas Security Council for Children. Dr. Fox is a leader and philanthropist who has spearheaded global initiatives for the Caribbean, addressing various global crises. His vision extends to the city of North Charleston, where he was awarded and given a proclamation for Adrian Fox Day, May 9th. Dr. Fox's journey has been one of transformation and redemption, educating himself extensively on the complexities of human trafficking. He has worked with state-level consultants and international experts as far as Cambodia, a country grappling with some of the worst human trafficking issues in the world. Collaborating with the Billionaire Roundtable, Dr. Fox brings a powerful network to tackle this crisis head on. Dr. Fox's compassion for those who have been trafficked is profound. He is deeply moved by the plight of children who have been trafficked and are now stranded in foreign countries. Although these children may have dire problems, there are no funds in place to provide work opportunities for these children. Dr. Fox is committed to addressing the gap. His empathy and dedication makes him the best man for the job. Today, Dr. Fox extends his reach to the vibrant city of Somerville, aiming to empower the partnership with the law enforcement in their fight against human trafficking and support of the Dorchester Home for Children. Dr. Fox has provided significant funds to empower these organizations, solidifying his role as a champion in battling against human trafficking. Therefore, I am happy to stand before you today to recommend Dr. Adrian Fox for a proclamation. I am confident that he will make the city of Somerville proud. His dedication and contribution are unparalleled, and I believe this proclamation will honor his relentless efforts and inspire further positive change. Moreover, we are pleased to present a check to two mentioned nonprofits, trusting that it will significantly aid in the fight against human trafficking. Dr. Fox's work has already had much impact in South Carolina, and this partnership will only strengthen our community's resilience and commitment to justice. Thank you for your time and consideration. Together, we can build a safer and prosperous future for all. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have one more. It's actually from Diane Frankenberger. She had to leave and she did not want to break the rules and speak at the first public comment session, so she had me read this for her. She says, every day, but especially during the storm, she has been grateful for all the public services in town, from fire, police, streets, stormwater, and Parks and Rec. The other day, she walked over to Doty Park, and she is very grateful for the town that provides facilities such as our parks. She says that the town of Somerville has a 5-star staff, and it is a 5-star town.
Thank you.
That's all I have for public comment.
Mr. Mayor, I move we enter executive session for personnel matter related to the town administrator search, personnel matter related to appointments to construction code board of appeals, and personnel matter related to the position of the building official.
Second.
All right, motion and a second to go into executive session. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? We're in executive session.